Hello and welcome back to Embodied Astrology. This is a weekly series where I share practical teachings and intuitive messages about the astrology of the week ahead so that you can work with it to embody your most authentic self and live your best life. I have 3 distinct messages about this week's astrology, but the overall themes are really around boundaries and care. It's very Cancer and it's very Virgo. We start the week off with a little boundary or capacity checkpoint. This is because the Sun and Saturn are making a hard aspect with each other. So I don't know about you guys, but for the basically whole month of June, I was just YOLOing. There's a lot of celebration, in-laws coming to town, friends coming to town, travel, and then of course a lot of work, reading sessions, private parties, things like that. And I feel like I was just operating at a speed that is so not sustainable for me. By the end of the month, I just felt completely wiped. And I think this transit is happening right on time. We're already feeling that the energy of this summer is so fast. There's so much going on. There's a lot to be excited about and to celebrate. And then there's just wild new energies that are coming into our space that is like, what the heck is going on? So we are still in this Mercury retrograde. It's a time to slow down and review and reflect. And I think that this is really the perfect time to ask ourselves, similar to some of the themes of the Capricorn full moon, where have you been overextending yourself? Where is your approach not sustainable? Are there any boundaries that you need to tighten up when it comes to perhaps your responsibility in certain relationships, your responsibilities at home, any sort of emotional boundaries that need to be strengthened? It's a very Cancerian type of theme. And if you're somebody who feels like you have a ton of energy right now and there's a lot you want to get done, it's like, how do you meet that energy with the sustainable practices and the self-care, the rejuvenation that is required to operate at this really high speed? When I tap into the astrology of this week, I am receiving this reminder that love is an act of service. And this is primarily happening because on Thursday, Venus, the planet of love and relationships and connection, is moving into Virgo, which is a sign that is very much oriented around service, around being detail-oriented, around being very purpose-driven, showing up to life in a very observant and devotional way. I get the sense that a lot of us are showing love in our lives in the ways that we want to receive love. I think this is very common and very obvious, but to truly be selfless in our act of loving the people who we love, we need to learn the ways that they want to receive love. So personal example for me, food is a huge area where I show love. I take pride in filling our fridge and cooking meals at home, breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever, because in my mind, receiving food and somebody cooking for you is such a, oh my gosh, I feel so cared for, I feel so seen, I feel so safe. Whereas my husband might be I don't really care, I'll just eat cereal for dinner. That's not really how he feels loved or he feels seen or he feels supported. And so it is this opportunity, with this Mercury retrograde, we are really receiving this opportunity to review the ways in which we need to be cared for and the ways that we care for others. And so it's the perfect time to have a conversation with anybody who you're in a relationship with, whether it's business, romantic, platonic, doesn't matter. Just kind of hey, how can I show up for you better? What is it that you need right now in our relationship? And also making sure that you are letting others know how they can better care for you. I get the sense that this is really about learning about new ways to love and keeping an open mind. And if somebody asks you explicitly hey, this is how I receive love, this is how I want to be cared for, to have that flexibility and try on these new ways of loving our loved ones. We finished out the week with a Mercury cazimi on Sunday the 12th. So cazimi is when any planet in the sky comes into contact with the sun. It symbolizes this renewal point, a rebirth, a burst of clarity. And with Mercury retrograding through Cancer and then coming into contact with the sun, it's this amazing point of clarity that we get during this period that can feel a little bit confusing, a little bit slow, a little introspective. And so this is a very powerful time to put your little antennas up and to be open to any messages that you are willing to receive around these Mercury themes. So, communication, problem solving, how we think about things, and specifically how we think about the Cancer themes in our life. So home, family, emotional foundations, how we care, how we belong. And as I was sitting in meditation preparing for this episode, I had this really intense download and feeling, because I've been thinking so much about feelings lately. It's so Cancer, it's so Mercury retrograde, and how inconvenient it feels sometimes to feel so deeply. I don't know if this resonates with any of you watching, but growing up as a little sensitive Pisces kid who was so sensitive to the emotions of the people around me, to the point where if there was another little kid in class crying next to me, I would start crying because I was feeling their emotion. There was such a strong level of empathy there, but I didn't realize that other people's feelings are not my feelings. And so I think in this society where we are asked to be productive and achievement oriented and good little capitalists or whatever, like feeling these feelings are so inconvenient because they make you not productive, they make you question, they make you take alternative paths. And so I think a lot of us learn to kind of like tamper down our feelings, to dissociate from them, to numb ourselves to them in a variety of ways. And this Mercury retrograde, I think a really big message that the universe is trying to tell us is that to feel is such a gift. Feeling brings us closer to God. It brings us closer to the parts of us that are divine, that are spiritual beings, that are connected to all the energies outside of ourselves and to each other. It really is a mechanism that brings us closer to our humanity. And I think as we evolve as a society so quickly, like quicker than any of us really can register and are ready for, anything that connects us to our humanity is so important and must be valued and must be cherished and must be listened to. All of these feelings are a gift, whether it's something that's bringing you closer to that connection to each other and our connection to our humanity, the awe or the gratitude and this like connection of, wow, there's these energies at play bigger than myself that are watching over me and have my highest and best interests at heart. Or if we're feeling these feelings that are like kind of unpleasant, those feelings are going to reconnect us to our soul's path. Like these feelings that we're experiencing right now, whether it's sadness, anger, frustration, grief, like it is your soul screaming at you to be like, hey, over here, remember us? Remember me? Like this is where we're meant to go. And so any challenging feelings that are coming up for you during this time, I am telling you, the sense that I get is that these feelings are meant to be felt right now. These are right on time. These are feelings that you are meant to sit with, that you are meant to acknowledge, that you are meant to notice and name. Maybe it's not something you're doing about right away, but it is something that your soul is like, hey, this is important. I need you to listen to this. And at some point in the near future, when you're ready, we're going to course correct. We are going to act accordingly. Try your best not to see this as an inconvenience. Try to see this as so important, as so divinely timed, and as so crucial to your personal evolution. And so my practice for you as we continue to move through this Mercury retrograde is to try to really notice and name those feelings that you're feeling and try to get as specific as you can. This is like such a classic therapy thing. You guys know I'm like such a stan for therapy. And something that really helped me so much as somebody who feels a lot and growing up was always feeling so much of other people's stuff, not realizing it wasn't mine to feel. Like sitting in those emotions and being like, okay, what is it that I'm feeling? I feel like once we give those feelings a name, and we can categorize them and we can really make sense of what they are and what they're trying to tell us, it takes a lot of the anxiety or the helplessness out of the picture. It allows us to reclaim our agency and to decide, okay, I'm feeling this thing. What am I going to do about it? How am I going to work with it? How am I going to sit with it and process it? And then take some sort of action around it, because we're feeling these things for a reason. And it's important that we are experiencing this process now. It's not an accident. It's not a coincidence. It is right on time. And that's it for this week's video. Thank you so much for watching. I love making these for you, and I'm so curious to hear how this astrology is landing in your own life. So feel free to drop a comment below and let me know what's going on. If you are feeling like you're at a crossroads and you want to reconnect with your authentic self and discover your unique potential through the lens of your birth chart, go ahead and book a True You astrology reading with me. My books are open for the month of July, and I would love nothing more than to, with the help of astrology, give you a permission slip to be exactly who you truly are. Thanks again for watching. Have a great week, and I will see you next week for a new moon in Cancer. Bye for now.